Today I wanted to share with you our family's experience as first-time dairy goat owners. And to answer the first question right off the bat, yes, having goats is absolutely as fun as you think it will be. Let me tell you our experience from the beginning. The goats that we bought are actually half Nigerian dwarf goats and half alpine goats. Small, only like half-size dairy goats. And this was perfect for us because we were having goats in our suburban backyard. So when I got all set up to buy these goats from this woman, I asked her if she could keep the goats with a buck for a month to breed the goats before I got them. Because animals that lactate have to have a baby first to begin that process of lactation. So we got the goats in September and we hoped that they were bred like all was planned. But over time, we saw the goats get bigger and bigger, and we knew that they were successfully carrying babies. So that was very exciting to us. That was the whole point. We didn't end up being present for either of the births of our does. Both of our does kid in the night without our help, and we just woke up the next morning to go find kids in the shed. Now, one of the things with keeping animals that you find out is there are some messy jobs and there are some yucky jobs. And so with the birth of the kids, there was a little bit of this yuckiness and messiness. When you're on kid watch, waiting for the goats to come, then you're checking ligaments and you're checking the backside of the goat regularly and looking for discharge and looking for any other signs that might tell you that goat babies are on the way. And my son experienced this other less than pleasant fact is that often animals will eat the placenta after their baby's born. And it's a really good source of nutrition and health for them after they've just gone through this birth and labor. But it can make the stomach of people turn a little bit. My husband had been on the fence about the goats kind of the whole time until the kids were born. And once those kids were born, he said, this is it. This just might be the thing that puts me over the edge and wants me to have goats all the time. Now, goat kids are hilarious. From about 1 or 2 days, they are jumping and running around and bouncing off of things, and they'll hop up onto your lap, and that's adorable when they're little, but you may want to train it out of them so they don't keep doing it. And they love toys. So when you have goats, you need lots of toys for your goats. Now, this can be a stack of pallets, or it can be some stumps or logs of wood. But frankly, kids really love kid toys as well. And so they will climb on kid playhouses or on trampolines or in little cozy coops, and it's pretty hilarious. One great thing about goats is how family friendly they are. How you can keep your kids never unsupervised, but you can feel safe to have your kids around the goats and the kids, and they'll play and have fun, and you don't have to worry about your children being trampled. I've heard it said in goat books that I've read that goats won't actually eat anything like many people say. However, they will taste anything and see if it looks promising.
Yep, the goat's trying to eat the slack line. And a can. Oh, and a helmet.
So we got a big kick out of our goats eating a lot of different things or trying to eat a lot of different things. In our backyard, we'd often let our goats out of their main area into our grass, and they love to chew on the grass and eat the grass. We never let them stay too long on the grass, or else they get a tummy ache. They'll start to get bloated, and you have to feed them baking soda to help get rid of some of the gas that they're having. So goats definitely can get themselves into trouble with what they eat, but you shouldn't actually find them eating outrageous things. One great thing about the goats is that they are kind of like chickens. They act as your kitchen scrap disposal or garden scrap disposal. My goats knew when I was out working in the garden that they could come line up along the fence of the garden and that I'd probably find some treats for them, whether that was celery stalks that were going to flower or whether that was the tops and greens of carrots that I was taking off or other things like that. and they love to eat all those. The goats think I'm going to give them a treat, but really I'm just admiring my purple artichoke. Here along my garden fence, I actually had a third row of corn planted, and the goats yanked those up one by one with their long tongues and ate those straight through the fence. So goats can definitely be naughty. But the most wonderful thing about the dairy goats, and the whole reason we were interested in getting dairy goats, was the idea that they take that food and turn it into delicious milk. Creating milk is called a biofeedback loop. And so what happens is, if more milk is taken from the mom, then the mom produces more milk. And that is all great for the mom as long as you are feeding her and keeping her healthy, not overtaxing her body. So when we're taking some of the goat milk, we're not keeping milk away from the kids. We are encouraging the goat's body to make more milk. And these animals have been bred over time for these traits and the ability to make more milk while still keeping the goat healthy. You can milk any time of day. You don't have to milk at 6 in the morning. I would milk my goats after my kids went to school and then after my kids went to bed. Now, I absolutely loved having so much goat milk to play and experiment in the kitchen with. Goat cheese is one of my favorite things. You take the milk and you combine culture and rennet and heat. At this stage, it looks like yogurt, where you can kind of split it like an iceberg. You take the scoops of that clabbered milk and scoop it into the cheese molds, food-safe containers that have holes drilled in them that let the whey, which is the liquid part of the milk, escape, and it keeps all the milk fat inside. I turn the cheeses over to help shape both sides and to help get out more of the buttermilk. Absolutely a delicious project. But with a dairy animal, you end up with lots of milk and sometimes more than you know what to do with, so you get to experiment and find new ways of using it. And one new way that I found to use my goat's milk was to make cajeta, which is a Mexican goat milk caramel. You boil down the milk with some vanilla and with some sugar to caramelize it and make it nice and thick and delicious. We didn't have any trouble keeping our goats contained. We had a 4-foot high welded wire fence. Now, I've heard that sometimes Nigerian dwarf goats, which are the smallest goats, can actually be the most naughty at jumping out of their fences. But our goats that were half Nigerian, half Alpine did not ever give us that trouble of jumping out of their fences. At first, I thought I would have to have an electric fence for them, but we'd never found that necessary. We kept our 2 goats and their babies in an area approximately 50 or 60 feet by 25 or 30 feet. They slept in a shed. Regularly, we would let them out into the main yard to eat the green grass. But we found goats very easy animals to have in a suburban area, just as long as you have the right neighbors. And we loved our time with our goats, and we absolutely would have dairy goats again. But we had made plans to move on in life. A time came when we had to say goodbye and sell our goats. If you want to see more videos with practical tips for homesteading and our family's experiences, please click the subscribe button.
It's okay, goats. We're just taking you to the person who's gonna buy you.
Mommy! Yuck!
And eat you.
It was like this. Mommy, you see this?